right. There you go.
All right, everybody, welcome in. This is Real Talk with Spoon and Puddin, episode 14. I'm the one and only Big Spoon.
I see you're independent journalist.
All
Okay.
right, the
Read your.
primary the primary purpose of this podcast is to educate and share our thoughts and opinions. When we have proof and evidence, this will be brought forth. This podcast does not constitute advice or services to anyone. Spoon and Puddin do not accept any responsibility or liability for our guests or anyone's comments or actions based on material we talk about on our podcast. This podcast is for private and non commercial use, and everyone should ascertain that the information we provide is correct and verified at all times. There shall be no adding to, editing, or reproduction of this podcast without prior written permission from Spoon and Puddin. You can reach us at Spoon and Puddin or Real Talk with Spoon and Puddin at Gmail.
Hmm.
What's going on this morning, Puddin?
Oh, not much. Just sitting here. What are you doing?
Oh man, I ain't been feeling good, so it was a long night at work.
Well. Oh well. So, what do you want to talk about today? I guess obvious. Start out.
Yeah, we got a couple obvious, so let's go ahead and.
I keep seeing all kinds of memes about them cops, and there was even videos. Did you see the video of them cops where they were holding the parents back?
Uh,
Oh, you didn't see that?
talk about in
Mhm.
Texas.
Yeah, it was a border patrol agent from what I seen that went in there and stopped it, but police were on scene for a while and they were keeping people from going into school. They were just letting the nut job go crazy.
Huh.
Oh, police are here to protect you, and even though they don't have a constitutional requirement to do so. I can't remember the case, but I've heard of talk about it multiple times that they do not have a duty to put their life in danger to protect you, but they can opt to stay outside of the school and wait for SWAT team. Hmm. What's your thoughts?
Well, I didn't see that, so
Oh, you haven't seen that?
but you know, I touched on this a few, I think, month or so back. I told you the story about the uh, school getting threats of a going to be a shooting like happened in Texas,
Yeah,
up, up,
Portland.
up around here in our parts, and the mother went to the school and she had her vest on and she was packing her weapon and it wasn't out in the open, but I guess the teacher saw the bulge, so they called the police. The police show up and then they take her into custody and she gets all that kind of trouble. This is the problem I have with all that is who do you trust to protect yourself and your children most of all.
You're number one.
You're number one. So they created these unconstitutional laws that say only police can carry a weapon on school grounds. Right? That's a taxpayer funded building, means it's owned by the people. Same thing with these city municipality buildings, federal buildings, state buildings. Those are all buildings owned by the people. So once they put a law on there that says only police or authorized personnel, guess what? I think me and you are authorized personnel because our tax dollars pay for that building.
I would gladly not stop paying taxes and never go there.
Well, sure. If you want to eliminate me from paying my taxes, then I won't come to your building. Uh, but as long as I pay taxes, it's my building.
That's
And
why January 6th is such a crazy debacle.
and these people that get on these things and uh, demand more gun laws and especially these idiot people that say only the police should be able to carry weapons.
Well, the police was in front of that school. I watched it. The parents were out there trying to run into school because the police weren't, and they were set up a police barricade line and was holding them back. From what I seen, there
But
was video from parents in the parking
but
lot.
but was this after the shooting?
Oh, this was during while it was going on.
I don't I don't know
You
about
didn't
all
see
that.
that? Oh,
I
I'll
haven't seen
find it. It's on Reddit. Some people were throwing memes up about, look, here go the police. They're not doing anything. But
that.
I
I mean
think
that doesn't surprise me that they don't do anything.
no. But I mean, that is what it is.
But this is what I want to tell people: the guns are not at fault. All right. The
No, it's a
number,
tool. It's an object. It's an inanimate object. It's a tool.
I'm a constitutionalist. Me and Puddin, we've had these debates over the years. I'm the first one that will tell you that I don't believe every person is mentally stable enough and should carry a gun. With that being said, our Constitution says
It doesn't restrict it, technically. But
you have
I
the
mean,
freedom.
honestly, if the teachers, I mean, everybody keeps talking about it. I know it's a knee jerk conversation. Why aren't they allowed to have guns? Because I'm pretty sure a teacher who's in the midst of a shooting range would have more balls than the police outside that were holding the parents back.
Well, I did read one story about there was this teacher that she was hiding in her room with the students. She's trying to call 911, and the gunman comes in and he ends up killing several students and her.
Mm-hmm.
What would be much different is if she's standing there with a gun and he walks in and she takes the shooter down before he has a chance to kill any innocent children.
If he tried to come in a room, just a couple of shots, and he might think otherwise.
Exactly.
Most of them are looking for fish in a barrel. But like I said, I seen something last night that said Biden's going to go down there. I'm sure the parents probably don't want to see his dumb ass.
Well,
they're looking for the one parent that's going to sit there and not tell the truth and say that, oh, we got to get rid of the guns. And it's not the case. I mean, we didn't have this problem before all these unconstitutional laws came in. I'm pretty sure back in the early 80s, there was no restrictions to carry a gun on school. Probably people had more common sense in the 70s and 80s.
When my dad was in high school, they carried their guns. When we was in school, the hunters, they had their shotguns in their vehicles.
Yeah, in the back of the back window. Like the old country boys.
Did you hear? We didn't hear about any school shootings.
No, it wasn't a thing.
And people want to get on there, and I get so sad that the American people are stupid. All right. Wow. From what our forefathers were 250 years ago today, the American people are stupid. They will handily hand over your rights and mine along with theirs. We need more gun laws. Hey, Puddin.
The Benjamin Franklin quote, those who trade liberty for security deserve and get neither.
Exactly. Puddin, I'm going to ask you a question. Is prostitution illegal?
Yeah.
Has it stopped?
Nope.
Drugs illegal?
Nope. Still going.
Still going, right? You got all these gun laws.
Nobody cares about them.
Right.
They use them to their advantage so they don't have that. They don't run into conflict.
No law you create is going to stop anything. That's the whole argument we and debates we had with people about abortion. Because I'm pro-life. You're pro-choice.
I would say that I'm pro-choice to a point.
Right. But what I'm saying is,
at a certain point, yeah, you're killing something.
We've had those debates, but we always have to fall back to the Constitution, right? Everybody has.
The Constitution doesn't restrict abortion, so
right. The Constitution, you have everyone has the right to the pursuit of liberty and happiness, right?
The blue, pink, and green-haired leftists don't understand that the Constitution doesn't say it's legal either.
I'm a Christian. I believe in pro-life, but you can't run your country based on your religion. You fall back on the Constitution. That's what you should do. The same thing with the gun laws. If you're able to afford a tank and you can park it in your driveway, you ought to be able to have a tank.
If I could afford one, I'd own one.
I know.
But I mean, we eventually I'm gonna, like I said, I do want to have something with red where, because I mean, we had a whole bunch of stuff where we debated this over time about the militia, and basically the founder said, "Who's the militia? It's the population."
Yep.
There's not you don't have to go to a course or anything, but when it comes to that, the people on the right would probably hate my opinions about, like, say, the military. I would say let's gut the military by a massive percentage, because I mean, there was some forms and stuff we haven't even talked about. I mean, you might have been on the phone when we talked about it, but
Well, I mean, look at how many branches we have of the military, and then you add in the police. They've already militarized our police force.
pretty much.
It's no longer a group of men who picked this job to serve and protect.
Mm-mm.
Now they're militarized. They have their thin blue line. They protect each other. All right. They have military weapons they carry around in their trunk. Some of them in the front with them. And I'm not saying in some instances they don't need these, but you have SWAT teams. You have your certain divisions.
Oh no, they got armored carriers and everything.
Yeah. So your everyday officer doesn't need an AK or AR in his trunk or whatever you want to classify.
People need to think about it. Why, if he's dressed like that and his job is to patrol you, you're the enemy.
Exactly.
You're the enemy. And
but these people sit here and go, they're the only ones that have the weapons. Hey, people, go ask the Indians and the Jews how that worked out. Go ask them how it worked out for
them. Go look up Wounded Knee.
Yeah.
And that's, like I said, when the Vegas thing happened, I was so mad because I knew about Wounded Knee. Almost 200 men, women, and children were gunned down by the U.S. military on this continent.
After they said, "Hey, hand over your weapons,"
they were there to negotiate,
to
surrender, and then they ended up slaughtering them. But what was the narrative from 18 when the Vegas thing happened? Oh, the largest mass shooting. No,
me and you both called bullshit on that.
Oh yeah, well, it was Wounded Knee. That was the largest mass shooting. Oh, but it was done by the government, so if they do it, it's okay.
Oh yeah, what, Waco?
What? Okay. You want it? You want to step in and fill in for me? She's talking about that Freedom of Information request. No. We started on this. Okay, sorry. Let's go. So what was you?
Oh, she wants you to get on that. Is that what she wants you to get on?
Yeah, she wants me to hit on the Freedom of Information request.
Oh, we'll get to that.
We'll get to it.
Where was that? No. Yeah, but you got Wounded Knee. You got Waco.
Well, Waco was I mean, I don't know. I guess they weren't shot. Say burned alive. I guess that.
Well, they shot some of them, and then
they burned a lot of them alive.
And then they brought the flame-throwing tanks in and set them on fire.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can't say that's a mass shooting. It's a mass burning.
It was a mass massacre.
Well, it was a massacre, yes.
Because morally, did Koresh and some of the people do something wrong? Some people say yes, but that's between...
Morality isn't a death sentence, I don't think.
No.
I mean, did he infringe on did he shoot people? Let's see. Did he go outside of his little compound and commit mass murder? No. Did him and his troops? What's that?
A month or so back. I had the volume off, so I don't know what's going on there. He went to the sheriff many times and had conversations with him. The police and the government knew exactly where to find him. He had a job outside of the compound.
Supposedly, he went to town every morning and got a cup of coffee. But
they didn't
arrest him there. Yeah, same place every morning. Knew where he was.
The government was threatened. So
They
they went in there with
didn't like him making an army.
they went in there with full force, and the ending was going to be what the ending was going to be. Even if Koresh would have told them, "Okay, we will surrender, and we will let you have certain weapons, but we're going to keep certain men." What do you think they were going to do? They were going to do the same exact thing. Because if you watch any of those videos and study any of that, the first shots fired was from our government, the ATF agents, into them, and then the compound fired back. And the first time I had my son watch this, he was about 16, and I made him watch some of the stuff with the Waco, and he said he didn't understand all of it. He said, well, why are they firing on them? They shouldn't be doing that. And I said, who you referring to? He said, the people in the compound. Why are they firing on the government? I said, son, did you see who fired first? He said, yeah, our government did. I said, so let me get this straight.
So you're saying that if the government comes shooting into your home, you shouldn't shoot back.
I said, you're obeying all laws, and you have, let's say, 100 people that live on your acreage of land, and you call it a compound, and you're doing nothing wrong, and the government shows up and they start shooting. What would you do? I'm shooting back. So we had to go step by step, and then he understood. He's like, well, they just murdered them people. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what they did. So anytime that people say they trust the government,
no, you shouldn't.
That's the thing the forefathers warned us about. That's why this Constitution was set up.
Well, that was leading into that. We could talk about what she wants to talk about.
What's the Constitution say about the Second Amendment?
Shall not be infringed.
But what else does it say?
Huh? What do you mean?
Have a militia.
The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Yeah.
The duty, the militia. That's anyway. She wants me to talk about this.
Oh my God.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying.
Tell her she don't control the narrative of our podcast.
Okay. So anyway, what was it? Monday night, I filed a Freedom of Information request with Sumner County Sheriff's, right?
Yep.
And we tried to go down to we stopped at one of the courthouses, and then apparently I was at the wrong courthouse. And then we just came home, and then I figured out how to do it online. So we filed a Freedom of Information request for Portland Alderman Jody McDowell. And
that was you and your wife, right?
Well, we went down Monday to Gallup, and so Monday night, the address listed on the Freedom of Information request for personnel files for sheriffs was a lady named Natasha, and that was what was listed online. So that's where I sent the request. Tuesday morning, had an email back from her saying that I sent it to the wrong person and I needed to send it to Ben Allen at the Sumner County Staff Attorney in Sumner County. And that was at the one by Walmart, the building by Walmart. So I sent it to him Tuesday.
Over on Belvedere where you get your car tags.
Yes. So I didn't know where to go. I mean, I did it online, and I followed the first email to the Sheriff's Records Department, and then they sent me there. So I emailed it Tuesday. And then what was it, Wednesday, about 6 p.m.? Did someone receive some text?
Yeah, I got some text from a certain sheriff's deputy and an alderman for our city asking why you requested his information.
A private probe or request information, public files. I mean, am I glad I did it because it got the text messages? Sure. And I agreed to do it, but it's kind of like, according to FOIA, the Federal Information Act, the officer or whoever's requested is supposed to file one back. But apparently, according to TPRA, which is the Tennessee Public Records Act, no, they're allowed to share. But here's what the attorney said, and which is fine. I mean, I won't. If Ben Allen gets to see this, or anybody who wants to see
Who's
this,
the attorney? Ben Allen.
Ben Allen is the attorney. This is his email. Okay, I've got it pulled up here. But see, zero presumption that your records request will be confidential. Look, if there was something in the file that we could talk about, sure. It's not. I don't care. I'm going to come on here and talk about it. However, for him to say that, let me see. Also, there is zero presumption that a records request will be confidential. The records that you requested are maintained by the sheriff's office. Okay, fine. It's public record. Okay, again, we're talking about. I never didn't ask for social security numbers or none of that, which is ridiculous.
Not address, none of that.
No, I didn't know address. I just asked for
public
on
record.
duty records
Yep.
from the Sumner County Sheriff's. All I asked for. Okay, I had to check with multiple places. I did not miss any files that may be kept separately. There is absolutely no legal requirement that those employees who know of something of this request that remain silent unless the other employees makes a record request, which is what, according to FOIA, is. It requires that we notify a law enforcement officer anytime someone requests records for a personnel file. Up here, where was it? Agencies, government records, and the state local. They are governed by the Tennessee. The relevant statute requires that I answer the request or an estimate on how long it will take to the procedures of 7 days. I did not ask for no, let me see, private information. Basically, yep. What he said was, hold on a second. Requires that we notify a law enforcement officer anytime someone requests records with their personnel information. Why? Why is there a law of that? Why do you got to? What is public record? What is private?
See, I think he's misinterpreting the law. It says inform the officer that someone is requesting their information, right? It doesn't say we have to inform the officer who is requesting their information. And the reason, this is what bothers me about Tennessee. Instead of them going by the FOIA rules and federal guidelines, they made their own, right? The Tennessee Public Information Act. Many other states, you can go request public information anonymously, right? In Tennessee, in our town here, they want to know everything about you. They want a copy of your driver's license, your address, your email address, your phone number. But you can go to another state and just anonymously put that record request in and have them shoot it to an email, and nobody knows who you are. So this is the problem I have with that. The reason they do that, now, in his thing that he said, did he say he has to inform the officer who requested, or he has to inform the officer that someone requested?
That we notify a law enforcement officer anytime someone requests records with their personnel information. I didn't ask for his information. I asked for what happened on duty.
And
what is
here's the problem with that is because they can have their buddies, their cronies, inform them as soon as you request it, and the wheels go in motion for them to redact.
Hey, redact this, don't show this.
Redact this, redact that, hide this, pull this out of my file. If you don't think that don't happen, I got some stuff you can look at that'll show you things be changed. Whiteout gets used.
Well, I guess she's saying, you knew I was doing it, and it wasn't a secret, honestly. You're supposed to fill out the form for me because I'd never done it before.
I knew you wanted to do it.
Oh, come on now. Don't do that.
What?
Well, you got the text messages, but I find it very ironic and nerve-wracking that you're being texted Wednesday at 6, about my request within 48 hours of the first one.
Well, that's what I'm
And
saying.
so I'm gonna since this happened, you've given me the email to Portland, and now that I've read more of the Tennessee Public Records Act, I'll go ahead and request the files from the Portland PD and the city on his alderman file. Why not? Just get it all now. I mean, like I said, do I if there was something in there that I felt needed to be talked about, yeah, I'll go public with it. But behind the scenes on day 2 after he got the request, you're being texted, and it's not like I asked for any personal information. I only asked for his personnel file. That you don't have to tell him anything. That's if it's public record, it's public record.
No, I don't care about telling anybody anything. I'm just saying, I'm trying to find that one.
And I'm not going to talk rumors here, but a lot of people in Portland already know the rumors about things that go on, you know. And that's what I just want to see. Is there anything in the file that talk about those rumors? Is there any investigations? Uh, what are you doing?
See, this is that. And listen to it. In many other states, you can request open records anonymously. In Tennessee, any person making inspection or request of public records shall provide name, address, telephone number, home telephone number, driver's license, and or appropriate identifications before you can get those records. To me, they do that so they can hide shit, so they can cover up shit.
Well, yeah, like you got followed home from the meeting you went to by a police officer. You got to escort home, didn't you? Spoon.
If I got followed, here's the one. Whatever it's C-1. It says, however, when the personnel records of a law enforcement officer are inspected or requested, the custodian shall make a record of such inspection and provide notice within 3 days from the date of the inspection to the officer whose personal records have been inspected that such inspection has taken place, the name, address, and telephone number of the person making such inspection or whom the inspection was made, and the date of inspection. Information made confidential by this chapter shall be redacted whenever possible.
Mm-hmm.
Records or information, including the cost of copies and staff time to provide redacted copies. See, this only says on the inspection. So I guess they're saying if you're getting the file or you're there inspecting, it's going to be the same. So their law says they have to tell the officer within 3 days. Right?
I don't understand. The thing is, for the record, what who's mad about is the fact that we live in the sheriff's district, and
But the problem I have with all this is it says within 3 days of it being inspected. All right. Number one, you didn't inspect it. All right. Number two, you didn't receive the file yet. So of inspection or receiving the file would be equal, would it not?
Oh, I'd say so.
All right. So if he already knew, where's your file that you requested?
I ain't got it yet.
It says 3 days from the date of the inspection. You didn't inspect it, and you haven't received the file.
It says, well, he's making sure that he's got the right to say that he's got 7 days to respond, and he only received it 2 days ago.
All right. If he has 7 days to respond, fine. You're not there in person to inspect it. So he's supposed to wait until he responds to you and gives you the file, and then he has 3 days to tell the officer, hey,
here's the thing. File. What he's done is he's lit a fire under my ass to go down to the state.
Well, I think he's opened a can of worms for a lawsuit, and he's not the only one. We'll get on the other subject in a minute.
Well, we'll get on to your subject. Well, what I'm saying is we need to change the law. The law needs to be changed, and I sent you that video on how to kill a tax.
Yeah, but here's the code right here: 10-7-504 C1 A, B, and C. It says 3 days from the date of the inspection to the officer whose personnel records have been inspected. Have you inspected his records yet?
No.
Then he should not know that you requested his information. That's the
Unless
point.
they're trying to hide something, which again, I
That
don't care. I'm going to fill another one out and
that's
file
why
it with the city and the Portland PD because I'm allowed to. Because according to this, what you taught me, Mr. Attorney for Sumner County, is I can request in any city, in any municipality inside of the state, as long as I'm a Tennessee resident.
you can.
So I will continue to force my probe into
And,
Portland.
and keep his name and Miss
Oh
Natasha's
yeah.
name, and we'll go request their files too.
Well, I want to go talk to the state rep, but I'm gonna go around William Lambert. I already found the good rep. I think that's going to be maybe more willing to help or talk to us about this.
So if anybody's listening or watching and curious about this, if you look up the it's Freedom of Information Act is what they should go by, but they created their own. So it's what is it? Public Records, tnpublicrecords.org.
Tennessee Public Records Act is what it's governed.
Tennessee Public.
TNPR.
All right. So 10-7-504 says all law enforcement personnel records shall be open for inspection as provided in subsection A. However, when the records of law enforcement officer are inspected as provided in subsection A, the custodian shall make record of such inspection and provide notice when within 3 days from the date of inspection. They haven't even been inspected yet. And they've already told the officer, and that's why they do this, is because now whichever officer it is can get with his buddies and try to hide and redact stuff. And I say that because
the only reason I wanted any of Sumner County sheriffs is because Jody McDowell is an alderman. He's also an alderman. He's not just a sheriff. Well, I care less about the sheriffs and most of their.
Well, he was a city police first.
Yes, and we've heard the rumor about what happened there.
And now he's an alderman and a Sumner County sheriff. That's all fine and good. And I'm not saying this just to him. I'm talking about any officer. Like if you requested, Jim Fisher, if he's an officer, and they done the same thing, they're overstepping the law to give them a chance to cover up what's in their file. So
hey, do you want us to redact something in here?
Yeah. And I'm going to say that because I requested information on April 28th, and includes about 6 officers for the city. Do you think that all 6 of those officers know that I requested their information?
Oh, I'm sure they do. That's why you're getting escorts home.
And I haven't received any information. All right.
I don't know. Well, what is it? The Tennessee Comptroller of the Treasury is who I spoke with on Friday just for a moment.
And I'm going to call him.
And when I spoke with you, you said you've been thinking about talking to him, which is so we're going to have to try to figure out next week some way to set up a schedule. I want to go talk to them in person.
Yeah,
it's easier to figure out their body language that way.
We'll go talk to them in person. Go talk to the state rep in person.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. We need to go down to Nashville and get the state involved because you've got a county attorney who's sitting here, acting like, oh, we're supposed to tell. I didn't ask for no personal information. What do you got to tell him for? But whatever, you can say whatever you want. Under FOIA, you can't do that. You're at least you're bound by the federal that they could say, oh, hey, somebody requested something. Well, who was it? Well, you'll have to file a FOIA request.
Exactly.
But we understand that, if you requested information on an FBI agent and then they told him that, and then he would just fill out his FOIA request and they say, oh, here you go. We already have this right here on the desk, nothing redacted. Now you know who it is.
Well, let's put this in perspective for the people listening. If the FBI was going to come raid your home with a warrant, do you think they're going to call you a couple of days in advance and let you know they're coming?
Well, that was my reply email to him. So if Internal Affairs wants to do an investigation into an officer, do you notify the officer?
Of course you don't.
Well, if any state branch wants to investigate a citizen, are you required to tell me an investigation started?
It's just like if the city had a warrant to search your home, or the police going to call you and say, "Hey, we're going to be over there about 4 hours."
we're coming over. We're giving you 72 hours notice. We'll be over there to inspect and look for, do a search of your house.
Yeah,
No, they're going to wait till the tank's gassed up and they can burn you in Waco. Is what they're going to do.
exactly.
Mm. You won't find out until the flamethrowers going, or wounded knee. But that's the whole.
I know. I know you're upset about that one. I'm really upset about.
Oh, I know you got a lot. No, I'm upset because playing the good cop, bad cop. Michelle's mad about. I'm like, I would have talked about it and made it public anyway. However, it's more or less, you knew I was doing it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I knew you wanted to do it. I knew you wanted me to try to print it off and get it filled out for you.
The idea of it was unrelated to really just let's see what the files say. Let's do a quick read. I work for a private company, so if you don't want people looking at your personnel files, you have that option, right?
Yeah, you don't have to work for the public.
Yeah, you don't have to go take public money.
And I read.
I didn't request any of his pawn shop records, did I?
No,
that's his private thing. Oh, that's his deal.
I did read some more into that because when I spoke to the CEO of the chamber about if their records were public or not, to be able to see their books and their payroll, and she's like, "Absolutely not. We're a nonprofit, a nonprofit association or something." And I read into that, and I'm gonna talk to the comptrollers on that too, because I'm pretty damn sure that she misspoke. And in these laws, if they use taxpayer money and they're a nonprofit, no matter if they're an association or a charity or not, their files, they're supposed to be public. And if they are, I'm gonna get all of them.
And you're gonna get them all. Well, we already see you've waited over a month.
Well, I may have to wait. I know you're upset about yours.
No. I'm upset that it's look.
I know why you're upset.
It'd be one thing if you gave me the records. What I'm upset about is a day and a half later you're getting text. It was really technically a day.
Yeah, well, from the real date when they received it, yeah, it was a day.
Well, it was 2 days from the date they received. It was what was it like? It was like 10 p.m. Monday night.
But the first lady you said told you sent it to the wrong person.
Morning. Yeah, Tuesday morning.
And you didn't send it again until what, Tuesday afternoon to the right person?
Well, it was Tuesday around noon, I think, something like
that. All
right.
So little over 24 hours later, 28 hours later, I'm getting a text about you requesting his info. Yeah, I'm upset about that too, because you know what?
That just shows what the back, what's going on behind the scenes.
How much information is going to be missing from that file?
I don't know. We'll have to do a comparison between Portland and the city.
How much of that information is going to be blacked out or redacted or covered up? And how much should it be?
Well, we'll see how much black marker they use, I guess. But okay, so what was you going to get to? You was talking about something you wanted to shift on to.
Well, I'm really upset that I requested all this information, and in the FOIA laws and the Tennessee Public Open Records request says they're supposed to give you the information promptly. If they can't give it to you promptly, they have within 7 business days to either give it to you, deny it, or tell you when they're reasonably going to have it ready, right? That means if they need more than that 7 days, they say, hey, we need 15 business days and we'll have it to you. All right. On the 28th of April, I requested this information by email. The 29th of April, the very next morning, because I think it was about 11 a.m. So around there, I emailed it to them on Thursday. Friday, on the 29th, before 9 a.m., I walked into City Hall and I handed the originals to the recorder. And I voiced to her again, I know this is a lot. Just like my first time I come in here and give you a list, you can send it to me a piece at a time. That way you're not sitting waiting for the bulk of it. All right. I called and emailed 2 or 3 times leading up to the 9th, just asking, hey, you have any update? On the 9th, I received an email from her with a list that and had a box check and said, with the amount you requested, you have to give us time to get it ready. We're still trying to process and pull these files. All right. That was not within 7 business days. And it was not, here's a certain date, we're going to have it ready for you. So last week, I wrote up a long email and included the emails to the city and the screenshots of the information. And I emailed the mayor, the city recorder, and all 7 of the council. How many of you think emailed me back or had a response? None. So today is May 29th. That's over a month since I requested open records from the city, which they were supposed to give you within 7 days. If not, because the law says promptly or within 7 days, you got to tell him when you're going to have it ready. So they didn't have it ready in 7 days. It was the 8th day when they sent me the email. When they sent me the email, they still didn't tell me when they're going to have it ready. So here we are. We're already over a month now. So that's why I'm going to go talk to the comptrollers. And I'm going to take them all the evidence and explain to all them and see which way they want to go.
That's the whole idea.
They're playing.
Yeah, no, wait a minute. I'm looking at it. It does say right there. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get the screen thing. I was sitting there staring at it because I know I seen personal. And it does say it. Let me see if I can get it up there. See at the bottom of that email? We have to notify. Well, let me scoot it down a little bit.
Yeah, that's
with their personal information. I guess he's going to say that. Oh, well, it says informational, personal information. So, well, he didn't say personnel files. It says personal information, which I requested none of. And that's where I want to hold his feet to the fire with the comptrollers, because it's like, look, if there's something in there juicy that's now not a rumor can actually enter the theater of debate, well, sure, I'll speak on it.
Kimberly says she's a PI. If I need any info, I need lots of info, so I need your PI skills.
No, but the whole point of this is it's something unrelated to any of it. It's just there's some things that have been going on that we may speak of here soon. Because we went and talked to your friend about it. And
what friend?
Oh, I don't know. You don't have no friends in this town. You done made everybody mad.
I heard that.
You're special. You get police escorts home.
I'm surprised I don't get as many more than what I've had. But well, and a lot of people try to label me as, well, I've been labeled an extremist, a racist. I hate cops. And I spoke to one of my buddies who's an officer up here in the city last week.
My thing on the cops is what I replied was, good cops are looked down on, while bad cops are allowed to go town to town or job to job, because there's no accountability. Again, to frame this to people the way my mind works, if you're fired, well, it can't be fired. We resign you because they're scared of being sued. Force you to resign.
Which is what most of them do.
Yes. So if you're a cop and you're forced to resign, and then the next day you have a job in another district, okay, we're truck drivers. If someone runs into us, someone 100% caused the wreck, but we smoked a joint a week ago, and they find that out in the drug screen, are we looking for a new career?
Yes, we are. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you're looking for a new career. You're done.
Yep.
If you were drunk and somebody ran into you, just like If you work for the city chamber, you can get an escort home.
Oh
Or
yeah,
a
you're
free
good.
ride home. You get to ride home with the police.
But see,
But if we were drunk driving as a truck driver, we're
you're
looking for a
done.
new career. We're
Yeah,
going to drive a forklift.
you
And
will never
hopefully,
you will never be a commercial driver ever again in your life.
yeah, which is
But if
ridiculous.
but if you're a police
The
officer,
standard. Well, the thing people don't understand about police officers is they have permission from the state and the local government to exert authority over the citizens. Okay? Sure, if you're drunk driving, we don't mind exerting force on that drunk driver because they're endangering people, except in Portland. But
if you work for the chamber,
but when you do something you shouldn't, and it's so bad that we're gonna make him resign, just fire him so that he can't work in that line of that career anymore. You're done. You're out of that career.
well, see
Go drive a truck.
the whole problem with this is you can have an officer like we've got some in this town that's been suspended for abuse of power, suspended for pulling his mistress from the DUI.
You did get his timesheets, didn't you?
I do have his timesheets, but
How bad of a punishment was that suspension?
there wasn't a punishment because he got to use his
Oh,
he got to use he got to use his cash out vacation, and then he worked lots of overtime. But supposedly that was at a time there was no overtime.
This is your tax dollars, Portland.
And some of the timesheets, I think they accidentally sent me the wrong ones because they whited out and wrote a date in, and I got the printed copy of the actual timesheet, and then a whited out one that has different hours, but it's the same date.
But no, government doesn't make mistakes.
Oh no.
I think the biggest glue sniffers work in government, honestly.
But what I'm saying is, you can have an officer who's abusing his power, who's falsifying records, who's stealing money, who's abusing the public, and he'll be suspended several times. And then instead of firing him, they'll allow him to resign. And then a few days later, he's not working for the city; he's working for the county. And then from the county to the next city, and at every stop, he's doing the same thing. And when we talk about that, people say, "Well, you hate cops." No, I hate bad cops because I got a 19-year-old son who's wanting to be a police officer for our city.
I don't understand that one.
I don't either. It's against everything of my being. But if that's what he wants to do, I have to support him. First, he wanted to go to the military, and I tried to talk him out of that. Now he wants to be an officer. I'm trying to talk him out of that. There's not going to be no talking him out of it. But it may not be in this town, but he's going to be in one. That's what he wants to do. It's about like this.
I've talked to him. He's not. I think he would be. I mean, understand something. You're going to make as much, if not more, going into the private sector if you go in the right one.
Well, but he's like me.
And you don't have to be held to any scrutiny from any a-hole like your daddy.
Well, he's like me. The money doesn't drive him. And I asked him, I said, son, why do you want to be a cop? And in today's age, where they're militarized with the thin blue line, as many bad cops got. Why do you want to be a cop? He said, Dad, somebody's got to be a good one. I'm like, yeah, if you're going to hold those accountable. I said, but it's going to be a hard road for you if you're going to be a good one against all the bad ones.
Did you ever get that information from that call at Pizza Hut that you was requesting when the Pizza Hut driver pulled a gun or showed him a gun?
They didn't do it. They didn't do a report or anything.
Oh, they didn't do a report on that. Okay.
No.
That's just hearsay. But anyway, what I'm saying is I don't understand why he wants to do it. I mean,
Kimberly, would that be the same officer we were talking about? Or is it the other officer who's seeing somebody?
He's probably talking about the one that doesn't care about public safety. See, somebody that works with us was talking about, wasn't there a young man that got killed over North Orlando on 52 by a drunk driver?
I'm sure. Oh, well, as a matter of fact, if you want to go this, there was a young boy who was riding with the police chief's wife here a while back, and they got hit by a drunk driver, and that boy died in the back of the car of the chief's wife. But your chief's not going to fire the officer who rescues somebody who works for the chamber who's drunk instead of letting her go to jail.
Or even back into we haven't got the information, so we won't talk about it, but why a certain alderman was forced to resign. We'll have to see what they disclose. I hope they still have the record. It's not too old.
And I know after that council meeting, the chief took it personal, which it wasn't personal to him. And I hope he don't hold that against, my transgressions that he takes personal against my son. But
who, the chief? Yeah. Your son's doomed. He ain't got no promotion. You've doomed him. The sins of the father.
he'll go work for another city. But that's what I'm saying is everybody put this in perspective. You have someone who is riding with the chief's wife, a young man. I can't remember how far back it was. I think it's a few years. I think it was like 18 or 19. I may be wrong. But they get hit by a drunk driver, and this young man dies in the back of the car of the chief's wife. So he probably owns part of this car, right? And he's over the police. And then you got an officer who's off duty, who abuses his power, uses the system on his personal phone when he's not supposed to find out first, then calls in a favor, uses his abuse of power, shows up and rescues her. Do people not see that lineup? That
when you talking about Rose, alderman situation.
Yeah, you'll have to tell us.
Elaborate just a tad more on that one.
Yeah, but you don't see the disconnect.
If you're talking about Dillard, he's still an alderman. They want to get rid of him.
He didn't violate anything of the charter, so they can't. But do you see the disconnect with this? When you have the chief's wife get hit by a drunk driver,
letting a drunk driver off the hook.
Yes. Does anybody not see a problem with that?
Well, the mayor has a right. He could have fired that officer, but he didn't.
But
I guess the mayor's benevolent, and God has told him to go be a mayor.
Well, just like when he was promoting that Chris Taylor guy for Sumner County mayor, the corrupt cop out of Nashville. No, they didn't fire him. They tried to get rid of him, but they
tried. He's still in there.
They demoted him off some committees, like the Parks Committee and this committee, while he sits on the board because they couldn't remove him.
Hey, is he on next episode?
Huh?
Did he text back about next episode?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's supposed to be here.
He's supposed to be on next episode, next Sunday night.
If y'all are around, Rose, Mr. Dillard's supposed to be on next Sunday night on our podcast. As long as nothing.
He wanted to come on months ago, but
yeah, he was supposed to be on today, but it's the holiday weekend, and he thought it was going to be tonight. And it was this morning, and he's tied up, so we'll have him next week.
We're all going to be wearing white hoods.
That's what I'm saying. People like you.
Hey, look, everything's a joke to me, man.
Oh, I know. But what I was saying earlier about the people want to label extremists and racists, and because they don't know where you come from, right? No. Half my family is black or mixed. There's very few white people in my family. So the day that woman called me a racist, I posted on Facebook and said, I learned today that I'm a racist. Half my family is black and mixed. How am I going to break this news to them? Just trying to be funny. But just like with the cop thing, I have buddies that are police officers, and I spoke to one last week, and I told him, I said, you don't need to be seen associating with me because this is what they portray me. He said, I've known you my whole life. I know who you are. I don't listen to them. I stay away from them. See, so if people actually know who you are instead of just jumping to conclusions, you know.
That's why we got to try to work together, lead a coalition towards making some actual real change in government. And I know we've been on different pages on this. You've wanted to go local. I wanted to go state and federal. Of course, I want to go state and federal, top down. I mean, look, where do
But
we go from here?
we have to agree. Some of the stuff we're working on local, we have to move the
We
county,
need to carry
and,
it to
and
the
then
comptroller of the Treasury.
so
And
we're
I'm
not,
pretty sure, hey, City of Portland, just be notified that, you're on notice that you're way behind on Mr. Spoon's record request. I'll
yeah.
be requesting some soon, and we will be talking to the people who may hold your purse string.
I'm going to make this blunt as possible.
We've got official complaints because I have an attorney saying I requested personal information. No, I did not.
City of Portland administration, Mr. Mayor, councilman, anybody is paying attention to listening. If you thought I was an asshole before or a thorn in your side, you done pissed off the wrong fat boy, because I got evidence, I got laws, I got all the proof backing me up. I'm coming hard. You do your job. You do the job we pay you to do. That's what you do. And if you can't do that,
well, you do the job we're extorted to pay for.
Yeah, really.
That's let's say that you don't pay voluntarily, do you? You're extorted. It's extortion. No. You're extorted, and then when you ask questions, you're the prick.
Yep.
No, bullshit. You mob. It's time to change the mob. Which is why I wanted to go towards state more, because I do think that Tennessee does have some decent politicians at the state level.
But we're going to have to carry some of these issues that we got locally from the city and the county to the state, and that's how those will get changed, and that'll help things on the state level too. Kimberly, any info you do on your PI, get all the info you want. If you want to give it to us, we'll take it.
If you have proof of something, we'll put it up on the screen. We don't care. The people in government here just love to fatten their pockets. And that's a problem, because they extort money from the people to do so.
Well, that last email I got from the city recorder, I've always been nice to her, and she's been nice to me, but I know how much she made last year. I know how much she makes.
Oh, really?
And for the response,
do tell.
The kind of, I'd have to pull my box out over here. I get it. Hang on just a second.
Oh, you see how excited he got when you asked him for some look,
some information that I've been
you've dug into.
But what I'm saying is,
look at Fat Man Happy. Looks like he got a big old cheeseburger.
Me like cheeseburger.
Oh God.
See, here's their ordinance too with the TPRA. Mm-hmm. I got it right here. It's printed. It's not no surprise. So they hand it to me, but they can't follow it. You see what we got right here. Hell, I don't forget her name now. No, I got it.
Oh boy. Now she's going to be really mad at me when I send my FOIA request, because I said, do tell.
I don't care, because the next file from the city I request is going to be hers.
Well, I mean, again, it's her job to just look at it. I would say her job would be to look through the file. Oh, is there an address or any actual personal information?
How much do you think the city recorder made last year?
I don't know.
Take a guess.
40.
40?
I don't know. I mean, the mayor's making 60 now, apparently.
$77,126.40.
What?
That's what it says right here.
Boy.
From 8/30/19.
I see dollar bills falling from the sky.
Let's see where we find Callus.
Oh, Callus. Oh boy. The God told me to go be mayor.
You believe he? You believe he actually said that?
The voice in his head told him to go be mayor.
Last year he made $63,640.
He probably had how much?
63,000.
He probably had a nice, big, generous donation in the offering tray with a note from the Collins. Go be mayor and we'll hook you up. Or some of the other power people in town.
They'll probably Bank FU.
Bank FU, send him a charitable donation to his church to go be mayor. We'll back you.
I wonder if Mr. Dunaho had anything to do with that.
I don't know. Or Jennings. I don't know. Any of these
people. Or Mr. Whitaker.
Are you going to request the alderman's files now? I'm going to go request Jody since I've already started down that path.
The first one I'm going to get is the recorder, and then I can get the alderman if I want to, or the mayor.
I'm just wondering, do you think we should go ahead, since we have the email to the comptroller or the treasurer, we should go ahead and include them in our first emails?
Oh, yeah. We should copy. I think from now on out until they act right, we should copy them on every email we send them.
Yeah, okay. Because before I filed my 4-year on Portland Police and City for McDowell's file, I want to see what's in it, what can be talked about, how much they redact, But it'll all be something that we can carry down to Nashville. Good thing we don't live in Memphis or up near Kingsport or something. Goodness.
See right here. Even the copy that the city gave me. Upon receiving a public record request, a record custodian, whoever has it, City Hall or the police or whatever, the record custodian shall promptly make requested public records available in accordance with Tennessee Code and annotated 107503. If the records custodian is uncertain that applicable exception reply, the custodian may consult with the council or OORC. If not practical to properly provide requested records because additional time is necessary to determine whether the records exist, to search for, retrieve, or otherwise gain access to records, to determine whether records are open, to redact days from the records custodian receipt, to redact records, or for other similar reasons, that a records custodian shall, within 7 days from the records custodian receipt of requests, send the requester a completed public records response form B. If the record custodian denies a public record request, he or she shall deny. So within 7 days, they're supposed to send out. They didn't deny me on that form. They didn't give me the info. So once they sent that email to me on the 8th day, which is supposed to be within 7, they were supposed to tell me how long they were going to take before they could get my info.
Let's see. Mid-November after elections.
Probably.
unless you're gonna go for it. Hey, for you currently, you could be Mr. Mayor and make 63. That's a step up from where you're currently at.
No, it's about even.
You don't work much. It could be a step down if you worked a lot of overtime, but you don't.
If I just work the average of the 1 day every other week, it's about even.
Well, need a good person in there at least. But again, the whole thing about, like I said, she's upset. I was a little upset. I wasn't too upset because, I would have come forward with it if I got the information, but I didn't. But I'm sitting there thinking, gee whiz, a day, literally a day. And he already knows. And it's like, what? So what? If there's nothing in your file, what are you worried about? Isn't that what y'all tell us when you're listening to our phone conversations or spying in our email? If you're not doing nothing wrong, what do you got to worry about? Well, then tell us if we're being investigated. Somebody, but you're not going to do that. But I don't want to keep it too long. I know you ain't feeling good.
I think Charlie should request it.
She thinks you should have requested it, but
Why does she feel like that I should have requested it?
I
When
guess
I
because you're
requested
already a big target.
because I requested all the other information.
Look,
Does
hey,
she not think you're part of the show too?
I am part of the show, and I
If
requested it, but
okay,
I'm gonna drive us to go to the comptroller of the Treasury.
we're
I'm
good.
gonna drive us
I'm
to
there
go
with
on
you.
down, and there's a video. It's T-Rex arms and how to kill a tax, and it's an amazing video for all.
Can you post that in the comments right now?
I don't know how on Facebook.
Yeah, post it in the comments.
It's only got 163,000 views, but it took place here in Tennessee, and it's an absolutely amazing video. And it was it. There it is. I can go find it. Let me see if I can copy the link. But they went down and they let me see, copy link. There it is. So they went down to Nashville and they got rid of the ammo tax. I talked about this last week when we were drinking. They got rid of the ammo tax with that video right there. And that's where I sit there and I say, and my comment, I have it where I had posted a comment 2 years ago. We need to get rid of the grocery tax because that's an infringement.
Yep.
And there's plenty of ways to get money in other ways, which is what we spoke about with, the Fareed State Bank. I think the state would have more money than they could shake a stick at with something like that. But we got to go talk down to the big powers that be in Nashville and see what we can figure out. But I want to talk to state reps about this TPRA thing and some of the information you found. Maybe they need to do an audit or an investigation. I think the corruption in Portland, where the mayor says we have $4 million when you borrowed $6 million from the bank. If that's true, that's corruption. Come on, Char. Come.
Well, it's not just in this town. Obviously, it's in the county too, right?
Well,
this is not something we should have to worry about. And I know some people are like, "Well, y'all should leave the police alone." Guess what? They police us, right?
They're allowed to pull you over
for no reason and just make up a reason. All right.
Your tire rode onto the line of the road, so I'm going to pull you over.
All right, we have bosses. If you work a private job, you have bosses, right? Then you have to listen to the police. You have to obey the laws, the judge, whatever. Who makes sure they do what they're supposed to do? They're supposed to do it to each other, but they don't. So that leaves it to the people. And whether you're an officer or a fireman for the city, or you're the mayor, or you're an alderman, you work for the people because you're paid the taxpayer dollars. So it's the people's job to police the city workers and the police themselves to make sure they're doing their job right. So whenever some of y'all people come out and say, "Oh, I don't know why y'all bothering police. Just leave them alone. Let them do their job and don't worry about what they're doing." So don't worry about the corruption, right?
Yeah.
I was told the other night that they saw over by Vaughn Drive out in the field, they saw a SUV pull through the field, drop off some stuff in a bush, and leave. Less than 5 minutes later, a city police car pulls through that field with his lights off, goes to the exact same bush, grabs the contents out of that bush, and leaves with his lights off. Now, I don't have this on video, so I cannot confirm that it's real or not.
This is speculation.
Huh? But the person I believe that told me this, I believe wholeheartedly, and I've known him for a long time. So if it was researched and found that your local city officers, some of them were tied up into drug trafficking and selling to the public, would that be something you would want us to leave the police alone about also?
Not in this town.
No,
It's
just
kind of like When I look around this town, I just think of Roadhouse. Roadhouse. No, but like Illinois, you can't do anything. I know they can pull you over for that, I guess, but they can't. You're not an Illinois resident. Tennessee doesn't require a front plate, but
What's the same thing in California? They pull the Canadian guys over there, and they tell them here's my Canadian license and here's my passport, and then the California Highway Patrol threatens to take him to jail and this and that, and says you got to have this, and he's like, no, dude, I'm a Canadian citizen. I don't have to have all that.
Protect and serve is over. Now it's harass and annoy. That's
exactly.
I mean, like I said, I'm not looking down on the good officers. What I'm saying is the way I see it. If the system worked properly, you would run the bad officers out, and the good officers would get massive pay raises.
Yeah, because we have a lot of good officers.
Fine. Fire half of the bad ones, get rid of them, and then give the other half a 25-50% pay increase. The citizens would save money. The good officers would get pay increases. They'd actually do their job. But instead of harassing everybody.
Well, you take this. If you had 40 officers on the force, that's about what this town has. And they're all making around, let's say, 40, 45 grand a year. But 10 of them are really, really bad. They need to be gone. And you cut those 10, right?
It's a 25% pay increase. And you don't even have to ask for the money. It's already there.
And you could cut the 10 bad ones and pay all the good ones 25% more money. Don't you think that would benefit everybody and not just us and not just officers? It would benefit everybody.
But if they got rid of the bad ones, you might not get your free escorts. So you feel special.
I heard that.
Come on, man. You feel special.
Well, I got a picture. I want to show you.
At least from your city council meeting to home that nobody was going to, willingly come after you.
Since we're talking about this, I took this picture. It was this past week.
Oh, you talk about where they were all at dinner or lunch or whatever on the.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to show it on the screen. This, if you look, this is just the back of the restaurant. There's more officers around front, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patrol cars, undercover car, and the chief's car. So there's 7 around back, and there's more around front. And this is during the daytime, right? This is breakfast, lunch, brunch, what do you would call it? So pretty much your whole police force is not out doing their job or patrolling or none of that. They're all having a meeting, having lunch, or having brunch or breakfast, or what do you want to say? And I know a lot of people say, well, what's wrong with that? Well, when you have 40 officers total, give or take a few, and you have a population of over 13,000 now, and I think they said they're supposed to have six police officers on duty at one time, one shift, not counting your off duty, your chief, and you have your whole patrol at one place having breakfast, lunch, whatever, along with your police chief and everybody else. Don't you see that's a waste of taxpayer money?
Well, we'll figure out what we can figure out. And hopefully
at that exact time, if you could have some friends to run a blockade on you, you could get away with pretty much anything. You could rob Mapco. You could rob a bank. The same guy robbed Capital Bank, which is no longer in Portland anymore, twice, and they never caught him. He done it same guy twice. I told people in this town, it probably not only in this town.
Hey, hold on a second. Now, this is just a theory. You don't think somebody from Bank FU did it? They probably they didn't want the competition.
But the laws are so skewed that if you wanted to rob Bank FU.
Oh, they'd assassinate you. Don't touch these people fund us.
No, what I'm saying, as far as the laws and the police, you could go out to the city limit side of the north side of town where like Speedway is and pick a home over there and call in and say there's a domestic fight and the husband's trying to kill the woman. Every damn body from the city, county, everybody's there. All you got to do is go rob the bank. Ain't nobody to catch you. Grab it and go south.
Bank FU's too intertwined with everything.
Well, okay. Mapco, pick something else. I'm just saying, when they're all on the north side of town, you get something on the south side of town and go.
Oh, the BP, poor BP, you know.
Oh my God, those Indian fellers.
Please leave us alone. Take money. Take Slurpee.
You know that guy, that BP, he actually locked people inside of a store one time and wouldn't let them out.
Wow, because he was.
Dude, people think he's crazy. I don't know if the same guy's still there or not, but there was women. They was posted all over the
Hip Portland.
That and anything they could. But I don't know why. But there's crazy people out in this world.
I don't know. I just, like I said, the fact that this town only has 2 banks in it is, to me, very telling of the corruption.
Well, all the other ones go out.
Boss Hog Roadhouse town.
I remember we had a Regions at one time. I'm pretty sure it was Regions. It wasn't here very long.
Oh, Regions was here?
Pretty sure it was Regions. I may be mistaken, but it was a bank. I'm pretty sure it was Regions. It's been a long time ago. It's been like 20 years. Might have been longer than 20 years. Might have been 25 years. Of course, the bank I bank with, they changed their name like 10 times and finally they went out. But every bank that's came in hadn't been here very long and they went out, except for the credit.
I'm pretty sure once we're going to do like a whole day thing down in Nashville, and hopefully we can get something done and achieved. Other than maybe just waiting for Spoon to throw his hat in the ring and hopefully get God's chosen one out. I guess if you was getting God's chosen one out, would that officer be? What do you think?
So you think if I decide to throw my hat in the ring, I should do like the mayor said and said, God has chosen me to be mayor of this town.
That'll get you elected, apparently.
He don't want me to preach to the people. He don't want me to bring the lost souls to you, God. He wants me to run this town.
It was an envelope of cash with a secret note from Bank FU. You are chosen. You are chosen, son.
Hey, Bank FU, if you're listening, I cannot be bought. Hold your cash. Just
keep it. Yeah.
You rub your hairy nipples, I might be in, but no cash.
Oh, that's why you like me, because
oh my God, should have got you started.
Shit, don't get me started.
Kimberly, that's what they're doing. They're rubbing everybody's noses in the fact that they can do what they want and there's no repercussions, and there has been no repercussions.
We're going to disclose everything to the state and hopefully get some corrections, maybe. Like I said, need to get the TPRA changed and work towards that. I want to also talk to maybe that representative, because I still, I don't know. The alderman thing's still over there, and then, I don't know. I just don't know where the money is. Like I said, if Lamberth is correct on his thing, which he's getting his pockets lined, he has to. According to Lamberth, he don't make no money on his webpage.
He doesn't make any money?
Oh, he makes like less than $30,000 a year, which is a joke. Oh no, that's what I'm saying. If you go to his webpage and look at what Lambert makes, he makes publicly 30. What? The mayors make it almost twice what the state rep makes. You got to be kidding.
He's a lying mother. That's all I can say.
All right. That's what his webpage says. His salary. I mean, maybe that's just his salary. I don't.
What do you mean? What? I'm a French model. My webpage says that. I mean.
Oh, you put that on your OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I guess we're going to be making calls next week, and we're going to see what we can get done and maybe get some appointments.
Trying to set up some interviews with
appointments.
State reps.
The video I shared, the interesting part about that was the people that did that from T-Rex Arms are not in that state rep's district. So apparently we can sidestep Lambert. He can't be he's not the centurion that you assholes in Portland think he is. Okay? He's not the gatekeeper. Okay? That video proved that.
That video's in the comments. So y'all go look at it.
Yeah.
Where those guys from
It's a
Tennessee
10-minute video. It's
got the law changed.
Yes, they looked at changing the law, and they didn't go to their representative because they're in Dixon. You know, the rep they went to was in Pulaski, which is south. They were in a completely different district. But the state rep was willing to work with him. He listened to him. He liked what they had to say. And he said, yes, I agree. Let's get rid of this tax. And he championed the bill, and they pushed it through. But it was interesting because it says you don't have to donate massive amounts of money to a lobby firm or sit at home and think, vote, complain, vote, and then go back to complaining.
The lobbyists, that's the biggest.
You don't have to vote. You citizens, you can do it, is what they're showing. You can do it. If there's something you don't believe in, you can do it. Just go down to the Capitol and do it. And that's what I want. That's what I think our next move should be. Go to the Capitol.
We're gonna be pushing this stuff forward. The things we talk about, just like Puddin was talking about there about going to the Capitol. The things that we
what? I'm in the wrong line of work. If that's true, I'm in the wrong line of work.
A code enforcement officer makes between $80,000 and $125,000 a year. I think I need to go be a code enforcement. She said, so yeah, that's a lie. What's a lie? Gonna have to reiterate more. You stated a code enforcement officer makes $80,000 to $125,000 a year, and then you said, so yeah, that's a lie.
Who's code officer? You didn't talk about code officer. You talked about Callis and the public recorder.
Yeah, city recorder and the mayor. That's the only one I talk about.
Yeah, because you got there. But
maybe she's talking about. Oh, she's talking about on William Lambert. Yeah, you're right. That is a lie.
Okay. Yes. No, if you go to his webpage, don't take my word for it. Look up William Lambert and go to his webpage where he's all distinguished. College of William and Mary. Unfortunately, Mr. Lambert, if you listen to this or see this, you didn't follow any Jeffersonian principles.
Did he say College of William and Mary?
College of William and Mary, which is where Thomas Jefferson got his law degree.
Oh, I was going to say, I think Lambert went to Knoxville.
He went to Knoxville, and then he supposedly got his law degree from the College of William and Mary, according to his profile.
Okay.
But you have no Jeffersonian principles with this kind of BS going on in this town. You're the overseer that tries to hide it. And like I said, we've done that video I watched 2 years ago from them people about how to kill a tax, showing us we can sidestep you. There's a way around you. And what didn't you say of somebody for the constitutional Republicans that say he needs to go?
Yeah, sure do.
Constitutional Republican says William Lambert needs to go. That's funny.
Yep.
You're a rhino, William.
But he also said this. You better bring your.
Oh, you got to bring a big pocketbook, which is stupid.
Not only a big pocketbook, you better bring your arsenal and you better bring the money, because what William Lambert has is a lot of money behind him and a lot of people behind him. So if you ain't got it, you ain't taking him out.
People understand this government was set up for you, not for the big money. Big money, small.
But,
all right.
But what I was talking about on that, all these problems that we encounter and we foresee and are brought to our attention that we're trying to work through, not only our personal ones, but other ones, we're going to be taking that up the chain to the state level and try to get things done about it. So,
well, with what the Ben Allen said is, to me, well,
that's
next stop county or next stop state.
State.
Next stop
well,
state.
We need to pull his file next.
I'm not asking for his file. I don't care. Let's let him defend his thing about personal information.
I'll ask for his file.
I want him to say personal information and show the FOIA request and show in there I had personal information. I did not request personal information. I requested public information. Don't misspeak. You're an attorney. Are you that stupid?
And why are you telling the officer before you get
Before
the files?
you've done your job? You ain't even done your job.
But it says within 3 days of the files being inspected. You didn't show up in person to inspect them. You're waiting them to get sent to you. So until they're sent to you, they're not inspected. So he's already failed at his job.
No. All right, so I guess we'll try to catch y'all next week when we have a. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, if everything goes through and nothing gives a hiccup next Sunday night's the next podcast, and we'll have
Thomas Dillard,
Alderman T Dizzle. That's what I'm gonna call him.
T. Dizzle.
On the show with us.
I'll go ahead and get the cross in the background. I'll get a cross back there and we'll put some lighter fluid on it. I'm sorry. But all right, we'll see y'all next week.
Y'all got any good info for this, Kimberly? Send it to us. Do your PI work.
Spoon loves good info. Real talk with Spoon and Puddin at Gmail. Or you could just send it or find it. You can send her the link through Messenger if you want.
Messenger, yeah. All right, we'll see y'all next week. We're out.
See y'all next week. Later.